The situation in Egypt is closely being watched by lawmakers in Washington, including freshman Representative Ben Quayle.
For this new Arizona congressman, the expectations as he starts his new political life are even higher than for the dozens of other new lawmakers. Cronkite News reporter Lauren Gilger went to Washington to sit down with this newcomer who carries with him a very famous last name.
I got a chance to sit down with Ben Quayle, and we talked about the challenges he faced during his campaign and the challenges he faces now as he tries to write his own political legacy, one separate from that created by his famous father. When Ben Quayle announced his run for Congress in 2009, there was just one thing America knew about him: his last name.
The participants are Republican Vice President Dan Quayle.
His father served as the Republican vice president under George H.W. Bush less than 2 decades ago. And the same draw politics held for father, held for son as well. Cronkite News was there in 2009 as the former vice president came out to support his son.
He's a smart, honest, hardworking individual who cares deeply about the people of his congressional district.
But for this Quayle, there was no free ride on the road to Washington.
You know, there was a little more interest, possibly, and a little more scrutiny, but it comes with the territory. And
we sat down with Representative Quayle in his new Washington office just weeks into his first term to talk about the path that got him there and his hopes for the future.
I think campaigns are always difficult for everybody.
But they're not always this difficult. Soon after winning the Republican nomination for his seat in Congress, Ben Quayle was accused of writing under an alias for a racy website called thedirtyscottsdale.com. Then he dropped his own political bombshell on a national scale.
Barack Obama is the worst president in history.
But while the left cried foul, Tea Partiers and others on the right rallied around the political newcomer. And in November of last year, at just 33, he was elected to Congress. Ben Quayle was born just 3 days after his father was elected to his first term in Congress. Now he says he wants to forge his own path on Capitol Hill.
I'm not going to let that actually even put any sort of pressure or anything like that. I think it's going to be me and trying to figure out how I can do the best work for my constituents back home.
But it will be a tough political legacy to run away from, especially considering the thousands of dollars in campaign donations he received with the help of his father's political network. But he says that won't sway him from his mission.
We got to get our economy moving again, and we have to cut spending at the federal level.
It's a big job, but it's one he feels prepared for. After all, it's all in the family. Last month, the former VP looked on as his son was sworn into office as he took over the Quayle political legacy.
He's a very proud dad right now.
A very proud dad of a son with a lot to live up to. Quayle ran on the promise that he would bring fiscal sanity to Washington. Now that he's there, he says he's serious about fiscal reform and is ready to start by cutting federal spending. Lauren Gilger, Cronkite News.